My name is Richard Arena. Today I am interviewing an author, scholar, and mystic, James Vincent Plath. I am in New York and James is in Guatemala. Today is September 21st, 2025, around 3:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I have known James for a number of years. And James, do I have your permission to record this interview?
Absolutely not. No, yes, yes, yes.
Okay, thank you, thank you. Uh, so let's get started. James, how would you define mysticism? Is it a philosophy, a state of being, or a practice?
Oh, I like that. It could feel like a philosophy or seem like it to people, but I like what you said the second time, everything you just said there. It's a practice, but it's also a state of being. It's instead of thinking about reality, instead of speculating on reality, which could be philosophy and reasoning. It's more sitting still, being so quiet and calming the mind where you actually immerse yourself in reality for as long as you can.
Okay, yes. So it is kind of like a state of being.
Yes. And a practice to, because
Okay,
it's so hard to get there.
okay. Thank you for that. And what happens to our consciousness when we die?
Well, that's a tricky question because you said our consciousness and consciousness that I'll use Thomas Merton. You have a false self and a true self. And so most people identify with this false self their whole lives, which we call the ego, and we think that's us, Richard, James, and we think that, and they go through their whole lives thinking that's who they are. But behind that false self is a true self. And when you get in touch with that and get a glimpse of it through meditation or fasting or going quiet in the woods somewhere or taking a psychedelic, some kind of plant medicine, and it puts the false self to sleep or this monkey mind to sleep. And then you have the true self, and that never dies.
Mm.
But the false self goes away. As far as we know, the false self dies, but the true self remains, and you are, the good news is you are the true self, not the false self.
So when I say our consciousness, that's actually improper because the language makes me say it that way. So you don't really have consciousness. Maybe consciousness has you. Would that
Yes, yes,
be
yes.
fair?
Consciousness has you, and you are that consciousness, only you're in this weird dreamlike imagination. You think that you're alone and individual. You think you're an individual separate from everyone else, and it's everyone against the world, everyone's separate. But meanwhile, just like in a dream at night, if you have a dream of a meadow and there's a bunch of people having a picnic, all of those people are made of you. It's your dream. The squirrel that walks by, the bird that flies overhead, the sun, the flowers, it's all you. And the only way to know that is to wake up from that dream of separate and see it's just one.
Mm,
So
okay.
that one consciousness doesn't die. And the reason is it was never born. Where the false self sort of has a story, has a beginning and it has a middle and it has an end. But the one consciousness has no, it's uncreated. It's always
Wow.
there.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing. Um, are people born a mystic or is it something that can be developed?
That's a great question. These are good questions. Um, I would say some people, it's like being born a prodigy. Some people are born and at year three, they slide under their bed and play the bed springs. And they're able to play them like Beethoven. It's amazing when they
Right.
can make a little animal out of clay at like 3 years old or look at Mozart. He was born that way in a sense.
Right.
But it could be honed with practice. There's glimpses. It's sort of like fruit getting ripe. Hamlet said ripeness is all.
Mm,
And so sometimes someone's born in a more dense consciousness and they're abused and suffer. There's trauma and earthquakes and all sorts of bad
mm.
things that could happen that could bury it. I like to think of it like when your parents had a party and you were little and maybe you went in the coat room, like the room where they were throwing the coats, and you took a
Right.
little nap in there because you're not allowed to be with the adults at night. And so the uncles and the friends are just throwing their coats in the dark room and they're covering you up. And it's like 100 coats over you. You can't hear the party. You can't, you're covered up. And as you remove the coats, all of a sudden you can hear. So sort of like
Oh,
that. So some people are born closer to it. Some people have to work their way, and sometimes suffering brings you there.
oh, that's a great analogy. Yes. Um, would you say is there a difference between prayer and meditation?
Um, the idea of prayer nowadays is like asking for something, like you make a little
Right.
grocery list for God and you ask, my aunt needs an operation on her hip and save that little squirrel that keeps getting caught in the fence. But prayer used to be like when Jesus talked about it, more like Buddha's meditation. It was Jesus said, who was a true mystic, said, go home, shut the door, find an inner room, which could be a metaphor for your heart. Find a deeper room somewhere and really get in there. Lock the door, don't babble. These are exact words. Don't babble,
Mm.
and the Father will be there. So it's more like a meditation, just being silent, not asking. And my favorite prayer is Meister Eckhart, a Christian mystic from 1400s, who said, God, I pray to you to rid me of God so I may know God.
Wow.
And that's let me get rid of all the concepts and the wanting and the desire and especially the idea of God, whatever we think God is, you have to get rid of everything. And when you just get rid of everything and totally empty yourself, like kenosis, then you will know.
Wow, that's
Just
fantastic. So
shows up.
the idea of God is not God. That's great.
Yes, yes.
Wow. Okay, great.
The idea
Uh,
of God stops you. It's the main stopper of you accessing God is your idea of God. That's the hardest one.
right, right. Gotcha. Wow, that's fantastic. In your past on this journey, is like other than prayer and meditation, did you have any other practices that helped you
Since awakening or before?
in your past?
But I mean,
Like in the beginning of your journey, like did
oh, way
you
back, like a teenager on.
or when you first, had a mystical
Oh,
experience,
okay. Um, and the question was, what were my practices
or did
besides?
you have yeah, did you have any other practices besides prayer or meditation? Or
Yes. Like techniques?
yes.
Yes. Meditation would be one. Getting over the taboo of psychedelics or what I like to call astonishment medicine, these plant
Hmm.
medicines or these formulated in laboratory medicines that are really ego dissolvers. They dissolve the problem, the monkey mind. So um, if you take the medicine, it it makes the meditation so much easier
Mm.
and it dissolves that false self. But you can take it at a rave or a party and it won't work the same. So the set and the
Oh,
setting, your mindset and the setting, to do it sacredly, just like you're meditating, but add that would be a practice. Going into nature, climbing mountains, be something about nature being unfiltered through, it's like the unfiltered mind of whatever you want to call it, God or pure imagination or the
hmm.
universe. It's unfiltered through the monkey mind. It's just this untouched forest or mountain will trigger it. charity, giving, being selfless, giving away. That's a good thing. Go out and just start giving and not calculating how much do I give and are they going to drink with that money? Are they going to spend it on food? Just give and be selfless, volunteer, um, reading books that are pointing at this can help. You have to discern which books are the really good ones. You want the potent books that actually point. So reading, there's a technique called Lectio Divina, which is an old Christian technique of being totally silent and taking the scripture. And instead of reading the whole page, just read a line or two and take it like you're sniffing the wine and taking a sip and you know take that one little line and don't even digest it yet. Let it sit and then let it go down and really meditate on it and then contemplate it and talk about it. That could help.
Wow, that's
Many
great. That's a
techniques.
yeah, yes, many different techniques. That's great to hear that. Some people might go towards one and another one towards another.
Yes. Playing
Okay.
beautiful chant-like music, very soft music could help. Um,
Mm,
and I would recommend start early in the day. Like Kierkegaard and Jesus said, seek the kingdom first. So don't reach for your phone right away in the morning. Just be still for that little bit and center yourself and start the day that way. Put on some beautiful music and light some incense. The smell will do something, you
mm,
know.
wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then if you do have that experience with the incense, when you light it again, even a psychologist will tell you it'll trigger and bring you back to that beautiful feeling. So just the smell of it might bring you right in to the heart.
Yeah, I've heard that there's a there's a pretty big connection between smell and memory. That's
Yes,
very
yes.
powerful.
Taste also.
Wow. Okay, great. And so when you had your first mystical experience, can you describe that experience?
Sure. I was a big skeptic, atheist, materialist, such a skeptic that it was on my shirt, it was on my hat, I was a Bible, I hated the Bible. I was a Darwin thumper, holding the Darwin origin of species and going after all the Christian. I was really, really, really an atheist, but a
Wow.
kind one. But I didn't suffer fools gladly, and I thought I was right. And I had just the right person to tell me, who I respected, that everything you think is wrong. You're trying to get more books when it's less books and less ideas. And so this person pointed me inward, not outward, sort of like in Plato's cave where the prisoners are chained and they're looking at the shadows on the wall and they only see the shadows on the wall, and that's reality. And they can't turn their heads to see the fire behind them. And the Greeks putting on like a shadow play, a little puppet show on the wall, so that the
Hmm.
wall is everything. I thought that was the world was everything. And I turned within, and it was one night, my girlfriend was at the movies, and I put my dog to bed, and it was totally in darkness. I took a tiny puff of pot, a little bit of astonishment pot. And I wasn't a pot smoker. I was always a drinker. So had no idea. I took a tiny puff, and that loosened me up a little from this to that, like very loose. And I just did a technique of neti neti, which is a old Hindu technique of not this, not this, not this, not that. So whatever comes in an image, you just let it go. It could be anything. What's for dinner? What are you doing? Put the light on and put on a movie, put on that. No, just not that. And you just dismiss. And all of a sudden I thought I was having a heart attack.
Mm.
And I said,
Wow.
is it the pot? It can't be the pot. It was a little puff. And it was about an hour in of just total going deep inside into my core, into the core. And then it felt like dying. And I said, you know what? I'm ready to go. And I surrendered, and it ripped me. I felt it didn't feel good. It was a pull, and it pulled me into black, but not the black we're used to, like not just black, but the best word is black, but it was like the void that I was afraid of as an atheist.
Mm.
Pulled me in, and there was no body. It was just black nothingness that I was always afraid of. And it was like love. It was like so complete and whole. It felt unbelievable. It was love beyond any love on earth. I had a girlfriend I loved, I had parents I loved, dog I loved, friends I loved, and this was beyond anything. And then you realize there's no body, like it's just endless love. And then you realize it's not you're in endless love. You are. You're part of that. You are that. And now you are that. That's really good.
Sort
And
of like a merge, like you
yeah,
merge sort of like.
merge.
Okay.
Exactly, emerge. Like almost like a soul merging with God or love or whatever. And there's no more body, no more room. At one point, I was able to look at my bedroom and the pictures on the walls, all great art like Van Gogh, all amazing art that sustained me as an atheist, Salvador Dali. And it was just the pictures and the walls were gone. Everything was gone. There was pictures floating in empty, endless space. And then
Incredible.
that was gone.
Wow.
It was amazing. And I was able to take the phone and be able to write a few notes on a notepad. And that was it. That was just the start. Just the
That was
start.
just the
Because
beginning
the
of it,
next
huh?
morning I woke up and everything was the same. The ground,
Wow.
the wall. And it felt like a dream, but it wasn't a dream. And and I wrote to the teacher who told me, and he said, "Welcome home." And he said, "Now your toes are pointing, they're touching the ocean, pointing at the ocean. And
Hmm.
now we begin."
Wow. So
Yeah.
your first experience was like a beginning. And well, actually, which leads to my next question. After your first experience, was there a moment or a specific turning point that deepened your commitment to this path?
Um,
After your
a-
first, that
After
you,
it, well, it's like being in jail. Even though I loved life, I loved my life. I had a beagle, I had a girlfriend, my parents were alive. I had a beautiful job in the library, as you do. I was a librarian. I mean, you can't get a better job than that. Everything was great. Little beagle, beautiful girlfriend that was like a dream girl from outer space. She was amazing. We shared art and literature and everything. Everything was great, but I just didn't like this idea we die. That
hmm
was a problem. And now to see this glimpse, like beyond the veil, the next day, it was just, how do I get back to that? How do I get back to paradise? And I kept trying. And Jim Carrey says this on many videos. You try to get back there and you can't get back to that. That was an experience that you don't go back to. You're already that experience. You just have to remove. And I realized I had to start to change my life.
ah, yeah, okay.
Yeah. And let go. Like Lao Tzu said, and we read this when we were younger. The and I was doing the opposite. The fool keeps taking something every day. I got this now and I got this now. The fool keeps attaining something new, but the wise one lets go of something every day. So
Mm.
it was a matter of that.
It sounds like a connection between that and the neti neti technique that you were explaining and Meister Eckhart's getting rid of the idea of God. It seems like that's all connected.
Yeah, there's a word for it. Um, uh, It's via negativa, like apophatic, they call it. There's cataphatic, which is like a joy of falling in love with this, that everything is all is well, no one really dies, everybody's safe, even though it appears to be different. And you just keep talking about the positive qualities of this, and then is what you're alluding to, the apophatic, which is the stripping away of everything that you're not. Just you are not this and you are not that. And that was one of the books that right before I had the experience uh, caught my eye in the Buddhist section in Borders. So many of the books I'd seen before, but then there was one that said, "You are not." And I went, "What? Is there, you are not what?" And I said, "No, no, 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 you are not." And
Hmm.
I pulled that out by Stephen Walensky, and he was what the Maharaj, one of the greatest teachers. And that book was beyond the veils, beyond all the veils, to so strip away everything you are not, and then you'll see what's still there.
Wow, that sounds like a technique that definitely works.
Yes.
Um, so when people say all is one, or if they say everything is interconnected, is that a concept or a feeling, or is it actually true?
That's kind. I wrote a book. Um, it took like 7 years after that experience we just talked about to write a book about it. And I still couldn't say the word Jesus. I could say
Mm.
Buddha, but I couldn't say G. So I said, when that
You just
experience
have a
hit,
couple of.
yes, the back one, the one with the hood. Yes. It's a little darker, little more apophatic.
Hmm.
The monk with the hood with no face. So I wrote, now I know what the Nazarene meant by oneness. Now I
And
knew. I could
the
never know.
Nazarene, the
Meaning
Nazarene
Jesus.
is Jesus, right?
Jesus,
Okay,
yeah.
okay. Hmm.
So I couldn't even say Jesus, you
Right.
know. And then
Yes.
3 years later, I could not say Jesus. It was Jesus, Buddha, it was everybody, you know.
Hmm.
But I had such a problem with the Christianity growing up because I was so in the ego that I couldn't. So to answer your question, yes, it's a feeling. It's a direct experience that nothing is separate. There's no separation whatsoever. It's all one. And like Advaita Vedanta would say in the Hindu, they say they don't even want to say it's not, it's one. They say it's not two because to
Hmm.
say one implies there might be two. So it's not two brings it to, and then to go even further, you could say it's zero, like Shiva. It's totally not, not the hero's journey, which is great, but the zero's journey. And
Mm.
take the zero, and even that's a concept. So get rid of the line of the zero, erase it, and then it's
Yeah.
nothing. It's just like a soda bottle. Well, this coffee, if you took the coffee out and it was empty, and you took a hammer and smashed it, the air inside would merge. Where would it go? If you
Hmm.
broke the bottle, and that's what meditation does. The bottle breaks, and the air inside the bottle, which is what you think is you, contained within the body, the air inside would merge with the air outside. And it's that merge of the air inside and the air outside that would never separate. This is
Right.
just,
Yeah, I noticed that you use some metaphors. It seems like there is a problem with language itself when you try to explain the mystical experience. So
yes.
I totally understand that.
When you're
That's
there, you realize language is a joke. You can't,
mm,
it's, it's, it's all we have once we come back to tell everybody. But you, just like not near-death experience, they experience this tremendous thing that's ineffable beyond words. You can
mhm,
never put a word on it.
right.
And and then you try to come back and you want to say it, but the tongue is like a forked little, it's a dual tongue, and it
Mm.
just language is dual. You have to, so you point, you try to point to a metaphor, use the
Right.
most
So
potent language.
if reality really is one and language is based on duality, that would be the difficulty there, definitely.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what's
I
beautiful in the Bible. They have Adam name everything. And so there's Adam, right? Comes from nothing. And then Adam starts to name everything. And that's what we do. You know, there's the cup, there's the mountain, there's this, there's that. And once you do two, it's over.
Yeah, it's definitely sounds difficult to some people because you hear reality is one thing, but then if you just look outside your window, you see many different things.
But a
So,
great way to see it is think of Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz. There's 100 munchkins to her right. There's a witch to her left. There's flying monkeys in the air. There's flowers. There's a yellow brick road made of many bricks. But and so it's many objects, many different things, a lot
mhm.
of separation. But when she wakes up, it was all one dream made of one thing. And the one thing was not a thing, it was consciousness.
Wow.
And it's indisputable when you have a dream. You could dream you're on the top of the Eiffel Tower and we're having coffee and clinking glasses, and you hear the clink. You can even break my glass with an overzealous clink. And right there, you wake up and the tower is gone, the coffee's gone. It was all you, even the taste.
Hmm.
Everything is you.
Wow. Another great
Shakespeare
metaphor.
talked about it. We are such stuff dreams are made of, and our little life is rounded in a sleep. And he talks about the towers and everything that seems so solid will all go once you die. But why not wait till death, physical death? You can die before you die. Die
Right.
to your full self. And then this whole world becomes like heaven.
Wow. Wow, that's great. That sounds amazing. You actually kind of mentioned this before about silence, but we hear that certain spiritual people, you're a mystic, so you're not just a spiritual person, but some spiritual people have an object or a ritual that helps them connect to the divine. But I've heard from other mystics, and I've heard you, because I do know you, I've heard you say before that an object or ritual is not really the best thing, that the best thing would be to sit in silence for hours or days on end. And
Yeah.
that's the way to do it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. An
I just wanted to,
object. I mean, if that's your fallback at some point, that wouldn't be so bad, but better than that, more effective is to the
mm,
thing in itself. So it's like Immanuel Kant, the thing in itself, the noumenal, and then the phenomenal, the objects. So if you have an object like this Buddha is great, you have this globe where you see all these beautiful,
hmm.
beautiful, like a snow globe, and that could be just like all the problems in life, everything around. But when you look close, there's a Buddha sitting
Oh,
still,
wow.
not moving, and it's eventually when you sit still, all of that settles. And
Hmm.
when that settles, you're home. Just like Dorothy had to say, there's no place like home. There's no place like home. She finally shut up. She kept
Hmm.
trying to go to the wizard, go here, to go there. But then she finally, by her higher self, Glinda, which is our, doesn't exist. It's just Dorothy's higher self popping into the dream. It's your inner guidance. We're all held by that. And if you listen to that inner guidance and not to your stupid, disgusting, dirty, filthy monkey mind, listen to that pure voice that's in there. You'll know. It'll tell you, relax, all is well, everything. And there's no place. And that was like a mantra for her. And if you say that, you could say a mantra, there's no place like home, or um, I'm one with the force and the force is with me, like Star Wars. And the blind guy was able to walk across the battlefield, take care of everything while all the bullets are flying because he just said that and shut his mind off. It's Luke Skywalker does it at the end when he has to go through the little skinny uh, railway of the Death Star and drop the bomb to blow it up. And he takes the equipment off that he can see, takes all the equipment off and just trusts his intuition.
Right.
Trust your inner voice. Forget the phone, forget everything, forget the television,
Hmm.
forget the world, get rid of everything and find your inner guidance.
That's amazing because my next question to you was that many mystics like yourself have said that there's an inner voice that's sacred and divine, uh, and you would say And would you say exactly is the difference between that voice and the ego? You just mentioned, you actually just answered it, but there's a
Yeah,
difference. There is a difference, though.
the ego, I call it the tenacious motherfucker, the TMF, because it's so tenacious. It deserves that. And it likes that term, tenacious TMF. It's so tenacious and so slippery that it'll just sabotage your life. It's almost like a parasite that you can't, like the movie Alien. Like you were born and this thing came out and just jumped on your face like this. And you can't see it because it's inside.
Hmm.
It's inside. It's like VR goggles, only they're inside. So it's like being born inside a flight simulator. You're born, that pilots use so they can crash and practice without crashing a real plane. That it really feels real. It's like a video game, and you're in, and it's VR. And imagine if you were two pilots had a baby, and you were born inside the simulator,
Hmm.
and so you think you're always flying, you're always up. You have
So
no idea. You're born that with that prejudice, that bias, that this is all real and it's all separate, and
mm,
you're fucked. And it's you versus the world, and you got to figure it out. And you're going to be ambitious, and you're going to learn, 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 and you're going to beat the system, and no one's going to keep you down. And it goes on and on until it
mm,
crushes you. And at some point, you got to say, this can't be all there is. You try everything.
yeah,
Two
yeah.
girls at once, five lobsters, money, everything, and it runs out. Now you need two houses, three houses. The many rich people are very sad,
Hmm. That's
you
true.
know. Money can't buy it. This is beyond, this is true wealth beyond money.
Yeah, you seem to be and great metaphors, analogies, by the way. And you are questions that I do have for you. You're kind of answering some of them, which is amazing that you have that foresight.
Yes.
Because the next question I had was that a lot of people in the world that think that the world is in chaos right now. A lot of things going on in the world. How would you bring your insights to these people and show them like a peaceful way to live?
During, because we're so divided in the world, you're saying maybe more than
Yeah,
anything
see, like a
you and
lot of
I
people.
mix.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, because
Yeah,
there's
there's war and
like, can you give them instructions on how to meditate so they can see this for themselves, or
yes. Oh
that
yeah.
that's something you would do? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Can I give it? It's short.
Oh, if it's short, my next question was
Really short.
if you could bring a message to all of humanity, what would you say in one single
Same
sentence?
question, same one.
So we're going to combine that. Yes.
Go home,
Okay.
find a room somewhere, or go away. Like take a little bit of money. I don't care if you have to go in debt. Go upstate New York. Go upstate. So go somewhere quiet. But you could do it in your house. But if it's loud, if you have kids or a husband or a wife, whatever, and they're not on board, and you need to get away, and shut the television off, shut
Hmm.
the door, shut your mouth, shut everything, shut the light, and just totally unplug. Just like the Matrix, you have to unplug. The movies are trying, they're shouting at you to unplug. The Truman Show, Inception, The Matrix, The Wizard of Oz, all these movies are, where do they come from? Well, we'd say, oh, someone wrote them. Where does that come from? It's imagination. Where does that come from? So it's reality trying to put these little breadcrumbs there that it's in the scripture, it's in nature, it's in movies. Shut everything off. I would go away, go upstate to a Catskill cabin without your husband or wife, without the kids for
Hmm.
1 week and just shut everything off and be totally quiet. And if you can, procure some of this astonishment medicine and
Hmm.
take it so reverently and say, please, I know nothing. I'm stupid. I'm lost. Help
Hmm.
me. And take the medicine and just shut up. Don't think on it. Don't go near your phone. Unplug from all electronic and just be totally like you're dead in a coffin. Don't
Wow.
move. Be
Mm.
dead. And then you'll know that there is no death and you'll see what death really is.
Wow.
And the world is okay. It's this crazy, pendulum swinging left and right and nightmare world. And just like Dorothy, wake up from it. And she woke up and said, I'll never leave if it's not in my backyard, I'll never leave here again. And that's a metaphor for I'm home. And when you're home, your heart, your core, then nothing can bother you. And then from there, you'll walk out into the world and you'll help everybody.
Wow.
You'll
And
be
what
the
and
example.
the world will seem less chaotic, or will it
Yes,
seem
yes.
okay,
Yes.
okay.
You'll see it the way if you took a 3-year-old to the Wizard of Oz or to a wild play and someone pulled a gun out and shot somebody on stage on Broadway, if the actors are doing a good job, if it's a Robert De Niro and a Daniel Day-Lewis, it's going to look real when they smack them and shoot them and the blood comes out. It'll look very real to that kid, and yet it's
Hmm.
a play. And this whole thing is a play, but it looks so real. And this time it's Broadway big, and the lighting rig is the stars and the sun and the moon. And this is the Shakespearean stage. That's why his stage was called the Globe. And that's why he's the GOAT. He's the great.
Mm.
Don't argue. No one's arguing. Shakespeare is the GOAT. It's over. He's
Hmm.
the greatest of all time. And because he captured the drama and the whole thing and the tragedies and the comedies with a second grade education, because it's the one riding through, the one
Mm.
swimming through. So, and you have to see this as a play, but it's a divine play and everything's okay. But the appearance will look very real, just like to a 3-year-old in a theater.
Wow. So like a divine play, like sort of how we have a dream at night, but this waking
So
state could
real.
be a bigger dream.
Yeah, like in a dream at night, a bully could grab you and you're in 8th grade and push you down to the pavement. You feel the cement. You feel, I know everyone knows, you feel the cement. Or someone's chasing you, running through the woods. You could feel the leaves and the twigs going against you as you're running away. Then you wake up and the whole thing. We practice every single night. We
Mm.
practice. We even daydream in the day. So we
Hmm.
daydream, we night dream, and when we wake up, we think we're awake, but we're still in the daydream. We
Mm.
don't know it. And it's a hamster wheel. We just keep going. But the smartest of the smart, the sages, beyond the science, beyond everyone, are the sages. And they don't get that term lightly. And the sages say, this is a dream. Wake up. Snap out of it. Snap out of it. And
Right.
you can do it. And there are many techniques. And it's stilling the mind and letting go of the world. You have to let go. You have to overcome the world. It's no easy task. It's climbing Mount Everest naked in the dark.
Wow. That's actually relates to my next question to you would be being a mystic we hear involves duty and responsibility and sacrifice. What have you sacrificed for this path? You don't lead an ordinary life anymore, or would you say,
I gave up the whole everything. You give
mm-hmm,
up everything because everything here is yours anyway. You don't need to remember the movie The Jerk? It's got the
Steve
best
Martin?
title. Yeah, remember he goes, I give up. I'm out of here.
Yes.
And he goes, I don't need one thing. And then he goes, but I need this. And he goes,
Yeah.
all right, I only need this. And then he goes, but and this. And then he keeps going, but I need this. And he's walking out in his bathrobe and he's trying to be a mystic, but he's got a chair. He's dragging all these things with him. You have to
Hmm.
learn to live a lifestyle where it's like a one bag lifestyle. You have one bag, I have one cat, one bag, and like I know you love the movie Heat, 30 seconds or whatever, 20 seconds. If I hear the heat, if I feel the heat coming around the corner, I'm gone. You have to unattach from everything. It doesn't mean I have Bose headphones, but I'm not attached to them. You have
Hmm.
to detach. Have a doctorate in detachment. That's your degree. Library
Okay.
degree is really good. And then doctor of detachment, you've learned to just detach from, not like Steve Martin where he goes, but I need this. You want to let go of, you can still have it, but let go of everything because it's all yours. Everything here is yours. It's all
So,
yours.
so you can have things, just don't let those things have you. Would you
Yeah,
say
yes, yes,
something
yes.
like that?
It's not easy.
Mm,
You know, you're attached to the cat, you're attached to your lover, you're attached to certain foods and preferences. You have to let go of your preferences. That's not easy.
mm.
They'll serve me a plate of food, and if it's wrong, I take it. I enjoy whatever it is, whatever comes. I order lobster and I get steak. Okay.
Oh wow. Okay, so you
You
get
could
the
send
wrong
it
plate
back.
at a restaurant and you eat what they bring you.
You could send it back, but what do you attach? What do you, who's attached to, like the universe just brought you tiramisu, but you want a cheesecake.
Mm-hmm.
You can
Right.
switch it, but don't be upset. Don't get like this.
Mm-hmm.
Where's my food? Be like this and say, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I'll pay for both. Let me but I wanted the
Mm.
cheesecake." Like just be lighter. My
Yeah.
simple thing that could go on your thumb, like you could write it right here instead of the Bible, is move from something to nothing. Move from light heaviness to lightness.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep letting go. Like David Blaine when he flew with balloons. He had
Right.
balloons and but he had a lot of ballast, and the only way he could fly was to drop the ballast, and then he went up 2 feet. Then he
Uh
dropped 5 pounds, 10 pounds. So keep dropping ballast, and it's back
oh
to what you loved before, the apophatic way. Keep letting
oh.
go, keep letting
So
go.
the ballast would be sort of like our preferences. Keep dropping your
Yes,
preferences and your tastes and
yes,
things because it holds you to the world. It holds
yes.
you to the okay. Yes,
Yeah,
I
like
got
if
that.
Dorothy held on to a tree, she can't get out of you got to let go of the dream and
Mm.
wake up. And you could stay in the dream. You don't have to wake up totally like that. You could lucidly wake up and go, oh my, me, it's all, it's me. I did. And then you have full accountability that it was your stupid monkey mind. And you forgive yourself and you say, I can't believe what I did. And it's from maybe the way my father raised me or my mother or this or that, whatever caused this trauma. It could be a medical trauma. It could be all sorts of ways that life makes makes it hard on you. You have to rise above all that and be the hero. The hero
Mm.
laughs when all the guns come out, 50 guns, 100 guns, 1,000. The hero grabs a rope and goes, "We're gonna go. See you," and just goes. Doesn't give a fuck.
Well,
Sorry.
so yeah, I think a lot of people might think that like losing yourself is like a scary proposition, but you it sounds like it's very joyful.
Yeah, its death is joyful when it's the death because your true self is indestructible. So let everything else die. Let
Mm.
everything else burn away. And that's what I think the Christians meant by fire of hell. That the hellfire will burn away everything. Let it burn. It can't burn you. You were never born and never die. It's good news. The gospel, I wrote the Gospel of Astonishment, I think you had there. It's the good news of this is the truth beyond. And if you don't listen to the sages, I'm so sorry. You're going to suffer. Good luck.
Mm.
And you'll come
Mm.
back to this video or something. If you don't listen to the message, you're going to get it good. And that
Oh,
getting it good is pushing you to wake up, just like a flying monkey trying to grab Toto out of the out of Dorothy's arms. You
right.
know,
And
suffering is so scary, but it'll wake you up. It's the best way to wake up from a dream is intense suffering. And you
mm.
go, how can this be real? How? And you wake up.
So waking up is losing the full self, but you don't ever die because you're really the true self, and the full self was never born
Never
or
born.
dies.
That's the greatest thing ever.
Okay, yeah.
And
So
and the
that's
mind can't wrap around that, right? It tries.
mhm,
Well, how can it not be? Where did it come from? Million
yeah,
questions. And that's the mind. That's the ego trying to
right.
make sense of this. There is no sense.
Mm,
Listen to the sages at your own peril if you don't listen. If you resist, it's like resisting arrest on TikTok. You watch the videos and they say no and they yell at with all this hubris and they're 18 years old yelling and the cops will out and get you to jail. You're going to jail. Just let go. and
Right, right.
enjoy the ride because it's just a dream. It's just a ride.
Mm. Wow, what a conversation. This is wonderful stuff. I do have time for one more question for you.
Sure.
Um, how do you participate in the spiritual life of the community where you live in Guatemala?
Ah, wait, can you say it one more time?
Like, how do you participate in
Uh,
the life of your community in
When I
Guatemala?
came here from New York, I let go of my library job, which I love, 5,000 books or 3,000, thousands of books, everything, and just brought the cat and came here with like 5 books. I came here because the person who helped me wake up to this told me there are a few spiritual communities in the world that are so in the heart, like of what we're talking, like this kind of talk all day.
I see.
As you know, you love Schopenhauer. I love Schopenhauer, the great philosopher. He would go to a restaurant every day, but it was one of those places where the soldiers would go. It was a little more of like guy talk and tough talk. But he put a gold coin on the table every day, and he'd bring his poodle, Atman, the self, would sit there, and he put the gold coin, and that gold coin would go to any good conversation he heard. And you and I have had this many times. We'd be somewhere, obviously, our conversation was the best in the restaurant. And we would love to hear another. And sometimes people came to us, if you remember,
Mm.
Asians, these other people, and they would come over and say, "This is the table. Look at all the books and we want to be with you," they would say. And it was just wonderful. So I moved to a place where Schopenhauer would go poor if he put the gold coin down every day.
Mm,
He'd
wow.
quickly lose the money because the gold coin, put it down. I could put it down for everyone who talks about Kim Kardashian or Trump or politics or this or that. No one does. It's all about consciousness and awakening and loving each other and oneness. Every question you have is right in this town, in San Marcos, where it's Lake Atalan, where Huxley came in 1933, where The Little Prince was conceived of, the book
Mm.
here. So it's this beautiful area, and the Mayans, the original people here, are so in the heart. They're so in God or oneness, and the culture and the medicine is here, and the cops look the other way, and people
Mm.
get off the boat by the boatloads. The boats come and they just come to wake up. They do yoga and medicine, and it's just a hotbed, like a vortex of every question you've had is right here. It's all
Oh,
day,
so there's like tourism from around the world. They know where to go in Guatemala to.
every day. It's France, Germany, Sweden. I've seen people from everywhere, and they're amazing with their accents, and
Mm.
they all come and they want to know, where's the medicine shop? How do I get to this, to the heart? So I just sit I live in the Third Eye, which is perfect. Tersa Ojo. It's a Third Eye hotel restaurant, and everyone just comes. It's like the Field of Dreams. People will come
Oh,
and
that's
they
a
just
great
come
name.
and they want to wake up, or they're awake. So you meet many teachers, many view, but everyone's talking consciousness, 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 mushrooms, magic, and awakening.
So you've been there for a
Almost
little more
three.
than 3 years. You must have people seeking you out to ask you questions
Yes, I
then.
have a gate and I lock the gate. I'm up in a cabin up high in the sky in the back of the third. So I always fantasized when I was younger of, as being a librarian, we love books, and all the great writers would live. I love that Dorothy Parker lived in a hotel, and Hemingway would live in a hotel. Like they'd live in the hotel, and they had enough money to be able to live. So here it's so cheap. The money is
Hmm.
so low, but you're so deep in the heart. You can put your finger on the pulse of
Right.
God right here. And so I live here, and yeah, people come, or I go out, and it's a matter of retreat and then treat and go see the people because you can't keep it for yourself. You got to go see, but also quiet to be able to do talks like this with you and write
Mm.
books and podcasts and then go down to the people and the shamans, and they're here and they're in the shamans in the jungle, and then there's the shaman that's having coffee in the restaurant.
What a
It's
fascinating
amazing.
place.
They're
Fascinating.
amazing. I
Wow.
highly recommend it.
Well, I think
And
I'm gonna
you're
have to.
amongst very much poverty and
Mm,
like the cows in India, we have dogs everywhere and they're beautiful, but they're hungry. So I feed the dogs and
wow.
I'm sure other people are. And it's just you're around dogs and people and just everyone's searching. Everybody here is either searching or teaching.
Wow.
So it's easy to be unplugged here.
Right. Right.
But I
Wonderful.
still think about coming back to New York and what would it be like? I
Mm.
miss the diner and these kind of conversations. So they're both beautiful.
Well, it seems like I'm gonna have to come visit you sometime soon. It
You'll
sounds
fit right in.
incredible. And really, thank you very much for your time today, James, and
Thank you.
the information. And obviously, it's more than just information. Your knowledge, your wisdom, and appreciate that. Look forward to more talks with you in the future. And again, thank you for doing this today. Very much appreciate that. Thank
Thank
you
you.
so
The
much.
questions were amazing. I know you were supposed to give them to me earlier. I said no, and I'm glad I said no because I like to be surprised by them. They were perfect.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'll see you soon.